Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Crosbie. Welcome to my first session here at M365 May. Very excited today to be talking to you about the Better Together story with Microsoft Teams and Power Apps. Now, I actually come from the Power Apps side of the Microsoft world, but the Teams side of the world has become very much my thing as well, especially in the last few weeks. And these tools work beautifully together. And as with a lot of the things on the Microsoft platform, where we start to get the real magic is where we start to use the pieces together. This is a bit of a passion of mine. So today I'm going to be talking you through how these things work together. Don't worry if you don't know what Power Apps are. I'm going to be covering that. I'm assuming that not everyone watching here will have come across that before and that this might be new for you. So we're going to go through that. So before we start, as part of the event, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this online conference is hosted and the traditional custodians of the lands where our Australian-based speakers and participants are located. We would also like to pay our respects to elders past, present and future. Also, just want to draw your attention very briefly here to the code of conduct. It's a virtual event, but still be constructive, be respectful, be helpful, be kind. Everyone involved in this is a volunteer. Everyone is here to be learning and sharing and working together. And when we get the best out of our community, it's an awesome experience. I'm not going to go through all of the details there. There's a link at the bottom if you would like to know more about the code of conduct or to read more about that. And also thank you to our sponsors who have supported us in putting this event together. So this is me. My name is Lisa Crosbie. There's a few bits and pieces there about how you'll find me. I'm generally most active on LinkedIn, is the easiest place. If you are watching this and you're interested in what you see here and you'd like to know more, I'd love you to connect with me. Please just drop me a note when you do that to say that you saw this event. It helps me if I know where people are finding me. You'll also find me on Twitter. I have a fledgling little YouTube channel there and a website. My day job, I work for a company called Barhead Solutions. I'm actually based in Melbourne in Australia. Barhead is up and down the east coast of Australia, and my job there, I'm actually called technology evangelist. So my job is to, help educate people on, particularly on the Power Platform. Best job in the world, honestly. I'm also a Microsoft MVP, which means I do this stuff for fun in my spare time. I've been involved in global hackathons, I do videos, all sorts of things. So if you're interested in learning more about the Power Platform and how the Power Platform and Power Apps can work with Teams, I'm certainly very happy for people to reach out and make that connection. So here's what I'm going to go through today. First, I'm going to start with what is Power Apps. That is grammatically correct, by the way. I'll come back to that in a second, because I'm assuming that most of you watching this are coming from that sort of M365 world. You might know, more about Teams and so on, but not everyone has come across Power Apps. So I'm going to take you through kind of what that is, what the capabilities are, why it's awesome, and how we can use that to extend Teams, because it is actually the thing that gives you that extensibility of Teams and allows you to do even more great things with it. Then I'm going to take you through, and this will all be live demo. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint. I've got some slides here just to get us started, but then I'm going to switch across into a demo and show you some stuff. So we're going to go through the things you can do right now with extending Teams with Power Apps. So bringing your apps into the channels you already use, pinning an app into that left-hand navigation bar to give you easy and instant access, and then a little bit more on the kind of higher technical side is using context variables within Teams and Power Apps, so the Power App knows what team it's in and can pick up information from there. So I'll show you that. So those are the things that are currently available. We're going to have a look then at an example of some deeper linking, which is leading us into the roadmap of what's happening. And I'm going to pick out some points on the roadmap of where Microsoft is taking us. You probably won't be surprised with the huge growth in Teams recently. Microsoft is actually really accelerating this Power Apps and Teams integration. We've certainly seen massive growth in Power Apps even before the current lockdown with COVID-19, and especially during it, the ability to build rapid solutions. So these two technologies together are both accelerating. They're both really helping people right now. And so no surprise there, Microsoft is accelerating that. So I will talk to you a little bit about what's on the roadmap that was actually just announced last week. So hold on, it's there. All right, what is Power Apps? This is the Microsoft Power Platform. So this is a low-code development platform. There is actually a high-code story here too. If you're a pro dev, there's there's plenty of fun for you here too. But the real power here is that we've got a bunch of standalone applications that just work beautifully together that allow you to do, rapid, low-code, high-velocity, low-code solution development. So Power BI is the part that allows you to gain analysis, insight, and so on your business data. Power Apps, which is what I'm looking at today, allows you to create custom business applications for the web, for mobile, as widgets in other things. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today, is how we can use that. Power Automate is the part that allows you to do automation across your systems, both legacy systems and modern systems. And Power Virtual Agents, which I'm actually going to be doing another session on next week as part of M365, is the part that allows you to build a low-code chatbot. And that's also something we can get into Teams. So I'll be coming back to that one next week. So for today, I'm going to really focus in on Power Apps and what Power Apps can do. Within Power Apps, there are two different types of Power Apps. One is called Canvas apps and one is called model-driven apps. I'm actually only focusing on the part called Canvas apps today. A Canvas app is called a Canvas app because it starts with a blank canvas. You can do whatever you like with that. You can put in pretty pictures, you can design pixel perfect, you can connect to any data source, and you can build your own custom business application that can be typically a mobile device, tablet or phone mobile device. But what we're going to do here today is have a look at creating this beautifully designed app, whatever you want it to do, and then putting that in Teams where the users are. So let me switch across into my demo environment here for a second. Now, I should have mentioned also, we've got, we're using Teams live event today for this session. If you're watching this live, we've got Q&A on the side there. So if you have any questions along the way, please pop them in the window there. And what I will do is just pause at any given moment just to check whether we've got any questions in there, which we don't have yet. So, but please feel free to pop them in there if you do. Okay, so now we are inside Power Apps. We're building Power Apps online. You don't have to download any software or anything, and I've got a bunch of things that I've already prepared here. So I just want to take you through some of the basic capabilities of what we can do. So I can go in here, and this is an environment where I'm going to be able to create apps with no code. I'm going to create a new Canvas app, and I'm going to choose a phone layout. So the way it's designed at the moment kind of really talks in that kind of mobile language, but really what you're choosing between a phone layout and a tablet layout is whether you're going for like a horizontal landscape or portrait kind of format. And so here we have a blank canvas, and I can put whatever I want on it. Now, I'm not going to give you a full lesson in Power Apps here because my focus today is on how to use Power Apps in Teams, but I just want to give you a sense of the sort of thing, that we can do here. So we've got a bunch of, drag and drop menus here. I can grab a label. So let's see how easy it is to create a Hello World app. That's sort of where we tend to start with these things. I can grab that. I can make the text, whatever size I want. I can center it. I can do all sorts of things here. So let's just go to the home screen there. Let's make it a bit bigger. I might make it nice bright orange color, bold. So in terms of formatting and things, now I'll tell you now, I know what I'm doing with Power Apps. I'm not winning any design awards, but just to give you a sense of what we can do there, I can insert some media. So I can insert, things that use my device, cameras, barcode scanners, all these things. Let's pop an image in there. I've got Mr. Happy in the background there somewhere, I think. What have we got in there? We'll go into my media. Have I got, we better pop up an image here. There we go. Let's pop Mr. Happy in there. And then we can just pop Mr. Happy in here. So it's a very easy kind of drag and drop, interface. There's my Hello World app, and I'm just going to save that as Hello World. We'll give it a nice little yellow icon and save it. So very basic example, but let me show you what you can really start to do with this platform. The idea here is there's lots of different components. You can add buttons, you can add, labels, you can add all sorts of things. So for instance, I've got an example here that's a little bit more sophisticated than that. I've got some fields, I've got a nice background image, I've got, you know, spots for people to enter dates or text for descriptions or order references. And then you can start to get, you know, super sophisticated with things that have all of these different things here. So we've got all sorts of things of different screens. You can see down the side here. So this is like a little bit of a mashup in the experience of building it between something like PowerPoint and Excel. We've got the, you know, the canvas to work on. We've got all this navigation down the side here, and then formula bars doing things. So for instance, I've got a button, and the button has a formula to navigate. I can go into, you know, different screens here and build up an app. You'll see that starts to be, when someone's done something that has good design skills, that has beautiful things in there that can fire off automation, that can connect to your other systems. So you can have this connected to a, you know, an enterprise database system. You can have it connected to an Excel spreadsheet or SharePoint, depending on how basic you want it to go. So you've really got a huge world of possibilities there with Power Apps, and you'll see here, you know, we've got all sorts of things here with editing the tasks. You know, it's very easy to go in and edit anything in here. This is actually a sample that comes with Power Apps, so I could go in and say, actually, I want this to be you know, something else in here. I can change the label, I can change the size of things, I can move things around the screen. So as I said, blank canvas, anything you like. So that's what we're doing with Canvas apps, is creating these, you know, beautifully designed, anything you like it to look like, and then we can get these things inside Teams. So as I said, typically we think about Power Apps as a mobile application, but in this case, we're thinking of it almost like a widget, and we're going to put it inside Teams. So here are the things that we can do at the moment inside Teams. So the first thing, it's quite an easy process to get them in there. I'm going to go back to my Hello World app, which really, apart from the fact that I love, you know, just putting Mr. Happy up on the screen for no reason, I'm going to just show you the process for how you take this and put it inside Teams. Now, obviously you have to have the right permissions, admin, all of those things, but just, you know, I said at the start, this story of these things being better together, right? They're just designed to work. You're not building integrations, you're not doing anything really, you know, really kind of high tech here. So if I go back to my list of apps, I can just go to this 3 dots here and I can click Add to Teams. And it's giving me instructions here. I need to just download my app file and upload it as a custom app to Teams. So I'm going to just click there to download that app. And that's it. When I go back into Teams. Now for today, I'm actually using, for my demo here, I'm using Teams on the web browser. It's exactly the same in the app, but I can't broadcast to you from the app and demo to you in the app. So it's exactly the same concept. So let's say I've got my team here, and let's say we wanted Hello World as part of the sales team. First thing we can do, you'll notice there's this spot for apps, and you'll be familiar with this if you've added any other kind of apps in here. There's all these cool apps that you can add into Teams, but here's an option here to say I want to upload a custom app, and I'm going to grab my Hello World app. And it is now in there. Now, again, as I said, you have to have the right permissions to do all of this, but I just wanted to show you how, from a tech point of view, that's just in there now. You know, like I didn't have to go through any kind of, you know, integration process or whatever. It's just, so it's in there. So these are the other ones that I've prepared earlier. We've got the onboarding tasks, engagement survey, some other different kinds of things that we've enabled here. So now once the app is added into Teams, I can go back over here, and let's say we're going to add it to the sales team. So the first thing you can do is to pin an app inside our channel, inside the team. So I'm going to go into the sales team here, and we are going to click this little plus, and it's the same as just adding anything else. You know, you can add OneNote, Excel, whatever in there. Now I can add apps as well. So I can search for that one that I've just created. There it is, the Hello World app, and I'm going to click add. Now I could have also added some description and things along the way to make it a little bit nicer, but we're going to save that in there. It automatically posts to the channel unless I say otherwise. And Hello, Mr. Happy. There we go. My app is sitting inside there. So as I go around, Teams, when I come in here back into the sales team, you'll see that that's pinned there. So anytime that I want to access that, I can just go in and access that. So the Hello World example, as fun as it is to create, is really just to show you how easy it is to get your Power App from Power Apps and into Teams. If I go and update that app and republish it, I can just refresh it in here. I don't have to go through that process every time. So once it's in there, I can make updates to that app and they will be reflected in here once they're published. So that side of things is all good. As a more perhaps real example, if I go over here into my finance and HR channel, and I've got some things posted at the top here, so I might have onboarding tasks. So this is one of the more sophisticated and complex apps that's capable to do. So you'll see here it knows my alter ego here today is Alex Hunter, is my demo alter ego. It's recognized me as the logged in user, and I can say, great, let's get started, and I can go through and do my to-do list. I can do my tasks. So what we're doing here is we're using, and this is where, the Power Platform, and we're focusing on Power Apps today, is the thing that allows you to extend everything Microsoft, right? It's if you're working in the Dynamics 365 world, which is the CRM system, which is actually sort of where I've come from, it's the thing that allows us to extend that system, but it's also the thing that allows us to extend Teams in this way. So look at this now, I've got this whole onboarding thing inside Teams. If you didn't know that that was a Power App, if you were just a user, what would your experience be right now? You've come into Teams, you've been told to do your onboarding. It's just there. You don't have to learn any other technology. You don't have to log in to anything else. You don't have to click through to anything else. It's right there where you need it to be. And the data can be going off into whatever system you need to record that in, or pulling the data from whatever system you need it to be, but it's just sitting there beautifully inside Teams for the person to just click on, go through and pick up any of those things. You can have more than one in a team as well. So you'll see here in the finance and HR team in general, we've got the onboarding tasks. I can also have my leave request here. So again, you're starting to have, especially with these sort of productivity apps, you can have them all sitting in the system and just make it super easy for people to go in there. Oh, where do I request my leave? I have to log into something. No, it's just here now. I can log in as an employee. I can go through and check my leave balance. I can really need a vacation. I can go and do that. I'm going to put in vacation leave and submit it and so on. So all of this is a fully functioning app just sitting right within Teams. And you'll notice this leave request one. So that's the first thing we can do, is we can pin things inside the individual teams and channels here. But this leave request one is also over the side here. So the other thing you can do is, if you want something to persist that everyone has got access to it, so something like the onboarding one might just sit inside here for for when people individually need it. But we can also, again, if you've got the right admin permissions, have this sitting on the side here. So here's my leave request on the side, and I can just access that straight from there. I don't even have to go into a particular channel to get to it. So if you've got something that you want to have as a company-wide thing, have it persisting down the side, then you can do that and have that there. And you'll see there we've got a little custom icon on that one as well. So you can make them, sort of look however you like and have them sitting there. So far, we've created a Power App. We've done a very easy, just, export it out, bring it in here within a couple of clicks. We've pinned it to a channel. We've got it pinned on the sidebar there as well, which is actually just a matter of sort of going in here and finding things and pinning it. The other thing you can do then, if you want to get a little bit more sophisticated, and this is starting to take us towards where this technology is going in the future here, is that we can bring in the context variables so that the Power App knows where it is. So let's go in here. Let's imagine we are working on a big strategic account, or the scenario is that we have lots of different accounts that we're working on, and we have different teams for each accounts. And this one is the Northwind Traders account, and we want to do some sort of cost estimator. So I've just got like a quick estimator. Now this app isn't really doing much, but it's going through, so it'll load that up, and you'll see there, if you give it a second, it's actually going to find out. Did you see that popped up with Northwind Traders? That wasn't there before. I've got that highlighted so you can see it. So what it's doing is it's able to actually determine the app has got a formula. It's using a connector between Power Apps and Microsoft Teams to pick up the place where it's living. So we've got the cost estimator sitting in there, it's picking that up. So the idea here is that you can pick up, different contextual things from inside Teams, and then if you've got something where people have to fill out a form, you've just made it a whole lot easier for them because the form is existing in the context of the team, and it's already filled in for you. So there's about 13 different variables at the moment that you can pick up. You can get the team name, the channel name, and I'll get to. There's another one that's a sub entity which takes you sort of even deeper in terms of the linking. So it can pick context and then start to do things. There's a really awesome use case that was that Microsoft showed off last week that's come from a primary school in the States where they're using Teams for education, and they've got different teams for the different grade levels in the school, and then by being able to pick up the context of within the Power App, if they're putting in assessments for the students and things in a Power App, so anything like that where you're inputting it, it's actually already picking up the context and filtering based on who's in that channel and so on. So you can start to do some really clever things because the app is aware of where it is and is able to pick that up. I'll just pause here and see if we've got any questions. I don't think we do, which is all fine, but please do pop anything in the chat there if you are watching live. All right. So then where are we going next? What we can do from there is to start to see sort of some of the deeper linking that's going on. So the most exciting of these context variables, so we've got a bunch of them in here. So one of them is being able to pick up the team ID or the channel ID and things like that. But there's another one here that's called a sub-entity ID. Now, I'm just going to switch back across and show you a little video of what this one looks, because it's a little bit easier than clicking around. So I'm just going to go back to, and this is an example. This is actually a Microsoft app that's been published recently to help organisations with crisis communication. If this is something you're interested in, you can actually download it and start using it. But what this one is demonstrating, this is another app inside Teams. So again, a bit of a different design on this one. And I probably should click play to make it move. So what this one is doing is this is starting to use something that's an example of deeper linking. So this is using what's called a sub-entity ID, which allows the maker to deep link into a particular page of an app embedded in Teams. So for example, within this crisis communication app, we're creating news articles like to let people know about something. So here we go, we're creating a new crisis thing. It's posting it in the company news, but then it actually allows the user to click straight through to that from, to go straight to the app page rather than just, straight into that. So you can, what I was showing you before, the app is sitting there from its start page. This is allowing you to get that deeper linking into a particular page in the app, and that's really just the start of what's going to be possible here. As we go forward. So as I said, Microsoft is really starting to work on the roadmap for Power Apps and Teams, and this was announced last week. Really accelerated growth, which is exciting. As I said at the start, we're getting both huge growth in both Power Apps and Teams. So what we're seeing there with the crisis communication app and how that works is giving us a first glimpse into some of the improvements that are being made. But the direction that this is going in is going to increase, exponentially right now. I think they've basically just rethought all of the ways that they can make this work. So what we're going to see is Power Apps becoming a first-class experience in Teams. At the moment, we're building Power Apps over here, we're importing them into Teams. The experience of, it doesn't look and feel like Teams all the time. You can bring these beautifully designed apps in, but we're going to start seeing a move towards it being much more looking like it's natively built inside Teams. We're going to see some production-ready Power Apps templates provided by Microsoft. So those are going to be in scenarios like human resources, operations, customer service, things like that. The idea being that, ready-made templates help you see what's possible, and you'll be able to upload those, you'll be able to edit them easily. You'll be able to create your own templates. And then the most exciting thing here is you're going to be able to build Power Apps directly from inside Teams. So I will show you that in a second. So in the short term here, one of the things is about how do Power Apps, evolve as we're all working increasingly in an increasingly remote way. If you'd like to see, hear more about this, I've actually just sort of taken this screenshot from the Microsoft Business Applications Summit, which was on last week. When I pause at the end of this, I'll pop a link to the presentation in the chat for those of you who are watching. But if you have a look at Microsoft Business Applications Summit and look for the session there on Teams, you'll see, this all kind of laid out as the roadmap. As I said, this was only just announced last week, which is in early May. If you're watching this on record, so here's how, here are the things that we've got to look forward to. Here is apps that are more native. So that's what I was just saying there. You look at that first screenshot. Things that are the Power Apps that are starting to look like they're actually built with the same kind of look and feel as Teams, rather than just being the stuff that you've brought across and plugged in there. But of course, you can still do that if you've got those beautifully designed apps. We're getting into seeing things that will be more contextual, that they show up where you need them to in Teams, that you can access your data from your apps anywhere within Teams. And also, more collaborative, that you can chat about the data within your team so that your team can stay aligned, making it very easy to communicate with everyone, bringing that sense of collaboration actually into Power Apps. So, the pieces become more closely merged with these two technologies coming together. This is actually now Power Apps inside Teams. So this is again a preview screenshot, which was shown at the Business Applications Summit last year. So instead of what I've done, which is to say, hey, I know Power Apps, I'm going to go and build Power Apps, and then I'm going to export that, and I'm going to bring it into Teams, which, as I showed you, was quite easy. You won't even need to do that anymore. This is actually building. This is a Power Apps Canvas Studio simplified version of it inside Teams. So from within Teams, you'll be able to say, I want to create a new app. And there's some new controls and things being added here as well that you can pick up on, that will allow you to very easily create an app inside Teams that looks like it belongs to Teams and picks up on all of those things there. All right, there is one question there from Dave. Hello. I will just publish that one so that we can see it there. Dave says, hi Lisa, can you display a web page in an app and then have the user use the app to deliver the web page, and the web page work as it would normally in a browser? That's quite a lot to unpack there. The thing with Power Apps is that it's a business applications platform. So every user needs to be licensed. It's actually not designed to be a business to consumer kind of external facing thing. So Power Apps has a fundamental security construct where users have to sign in, they have to be licensed, they have to sign in, and it validates them with your Azure Active Directory credentials. So it doesn't have a sort of public Canvas app can't be like a public app. You can't kind of put it on the Apple Store or the the iOS, the Android Store or whatever, Google Play, and people just download it. So I think in a roundabout way to answer your question here, you can embed a Power App on a portal or a website, but doesn't work if people don't. It's more an intranet kind of use case, or a portal where customers are perhaps partners and logged in. Like, it's not a public facing use case. So in terms of putting a website inside Power Apps, it's kind of the wrong way around, I think. So no, I don't think so. I might have to take that one on notice as well, but it's not really that kind of thing. You can certainly design something that is behaving like a, so it's not actually putting a website in there, but it can be full of hyperlinks and full of navigation and menus and things. So you can actually, with a Canvas app, craft something that is doing, many of the same kinds of things, but it's a different kind of format. You're not sort of embedding the whole website inside the Canvas app. Hopefully that answers the question. So yeah, part of the roadmap here is that we're seeing, the ability to create those Power Apps directly from inside Teams, so that you don't even need to go anywhere to do that. All right, so while I just check for any other questions here, we do have a competition running. So this M365 May event is running for 4 or 5 weeks, like it's for the whole of May. We've got stacks and stacks of different sessions. Snapshot that QR code now. I'm going to talk long enough that you've got a chance to get it, and you will be in the chance to win one of our weekly competitions. So good luck. I would love it if someone from my session won. So make sure you snap that QR code there, and we can do that. And it looks like we might have one more question. Yeah, so Dave, just a follow-up question. The website would be internal and the users would be internal. So yeah, I think the use case would work there. As I said, it's one of the most common kind of questions or misunderstandings around Power Apps is that public facing versus business applications facing use case. So yeah, if you're using it for anything internal, then yes, there's a way to kind of pull those pieces together where the users are logging in and validating against that. Then yeah, that's certainly something you could explore. It's more the caution about not doing it with an external kind of site. All right. I have almost finished. I've left way too much time for questions. So again, thank you to our sponsors. I'm going to put my contact details up there again if you would like to reach out and get in touch. So just as a sort of a recap of what we've done here today, we've had a brief look at Power Apps, Canvas app. It's a blank canvas. You can create anything you want on that. You can very easily export that and bring it up into Teams. You can make it look however you want. You can pin it inside a channel, and you can have more than one app pinned inside a channel. You can also put the app on the left-hand sidebar. You can bring it into a team and have it know what team it is and pass that context variable and get that deeper linking in there. And then on the roadmap, I think we're going to see a lot of really exciting stuff around this. I sort of feel like I'm broadcasting this in May 2020. I don't know what the time frame is, but Microsoft announced last week that they're absolutely accelerating their development of the integration between these two products. They're both providing awesome solutions for people. So watch this space. I think we're going to see a lot more awesome things coming there in making that experience even smoother and easier, that you won't even have to go through that two-step process. As we saw there, you'll be able to, within Teams, just click through and create your app with that beautiful user interface and create things that are going to look native inside the app. All right, I think we're good. I'm just going to pause and see if we've got any more questions. There we go. There's one there. Now, how to work out how to get access to play with custom apps. Now, there is actually an option. Let me show you this actually, because I've run slightly ahead of time, so I've got time to show you this. So thank you for that question. I will jump back into here, and what I'm going to show you here is Power Apps Developer License. So you can, if you want to get started with this, there is an option here, and I will actually just grab this link and post it in the chat for those of you who are here. This is called a Power Apps Community Plan. And the Power Apps Community Plan, you can go through here, that tells you some information about it. This allows you to get started. And my tip here, click on this Create an Individual Environment. I won't go through the whole process now because I've already signed up for one that won't let me do it twice. But if you do that, you can actually sign up for a trial of Power Apps that is that's an ongoing trial. It has a user limit of 1, so you can't use it for production apps and for sharing, but it's a free license that has all the functionality that I've just shown you here. So certainly if you want to get in and learn and play around with this kind of stuff, then this is the best way to get started, because you can get in and experiment with that. I also run fairly regular app in a day training sessions, free training sessions. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me and I can link you up to where we do that. But if you want to get started with a license, thank you. Was it Jill? I think for that question, that would be the way that I would suggest doing that. All right. Any other questions there? I think we're good. Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. I will just, I'm going to go back and remind you to enter the competition, see if you can win a prize. And thank you so much again to the organisers and the sponsors for M365 May and for having us. And please reach out if you'd like to know more about Power Apps. I'll certainly be posting on new stuff as it comes through, because there's heaps to look forward to. So thank you very much for joining us and for watching on replay if that's what you're doing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.